All right, y'all. Last night was the WrestleMania XL kickoff press conference show for WrestleMania. Fantastic. It felt like a UFC type of press conference or like a big boxing fight press conference. Like in UFC, it would be like Conor McGregor's press conferences. Most of his would end in chaos, like a lot of chaos. Same with like back in the day, Mike Tyson's boxing press conferences before the fight, would end in all types of chaos and mayhem. Well, that's what this felt like. Some takeaways from this. Love the insults between them, all three guys, Roman, Cody Rhodes, and The Rock. It was fantastic. They were stabbing deep, man. A lot of personal shots with the family stuff. They're all talking about each other's fathers and grandfathers and stuff, and they showed the family tree of the bloodline. I thought that was great. You had The Rock going heel like once or twice. Don't really see that too much now since he's become a part-timer and he's a movie star. So I thought that was interesting. And he hasn't really been a heel since like '03, Hollywood Rock. That was a great gimmick back in the day. What else? You had Seth Rollins. He got mad at the end of it, telling The Rock, just because you're on the board, you're a board member now, doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. And The Rock and The Rock's like, yeah, I can. That's hilarious. I think that was pretty much my takeaways from it. Let's review it. Now I'll get to the Smackdown review. All right. So Seth Rollins is out there. He's pretty much about to introduce Cody Rhodes. He's like the back-to-back Royal Rumble winner, Cody Rhodes. And then Roman's music hits. And then Roman says, so he gets out there. Seth Rollins just says, oh, he showed up for work once. And the crowd like, ooh, and a nine. And Roman says, he showed up to work in his wife's shoes. He had some, I don't know what, hold on. Do they have a picture right there? Look at that. He's got some like white thing on top of his shoes. Looks ridiculous, man. Yeah, so Roman says, let's talk about Cody Rhodes, the man who can't make his own choice, huh? Mr. Hesitation. It's a lesson for y'all out there. If you hesitate, your moment is gonna move on. It's no longer his decision. It's now your tribal chief's decision. And then he just looks at Rollins. Get this bum out of here. Get him out of here. He's a bum. And then Roman says, I choose. And then he like delayed and he hesitated a little bit and he says, The Rock. And out comes The Rock. His music hits right there. Got a mixed reaction, and then the mixed reaction stopped, and then it turned into boos. So they're already booing The Rock. And then he says, finally, The Rock has come back to Las Vegas. And then he says, Do you think do you think Roman Reigns is gonna beat The Rock at WrestleMania? And he waited a few seconds, maybe a minute before he spoke. And then he says, or do you think the The Rock is gonna beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? And then he delayed for a little bit and he says, do you think The Rock versus Roman Reigns is gonna be the biggest main event in the history of WWE? A lot of mixed reactions there. And then all of a sudden, We Want Cody chant breaks out. And then The Rock says, I introduced you to the Cody Crybabies. That's what he called them earlier yesterday on the Pat McAfee show. He's like, there's two types of fans. There's like the Cody fans, like the regular fans or whatever. And then there's like the crybaby fans, like they went after his daughter and stuff. So stupid, threatening his daughter. Like, come on, man. You're that upset that about a wrestling storyline, a segment, or a potential match that they didn't even announce. You're gonna threaten his daughter. She has nothing to do with it, man. She probably has no clues what's going on. So stupid, man. That's ridiculous. I think did she delete her account or deactivate it or some shit. Can't blame her. But yeah, that was this wrestling. Some wrestling fans is like so consumed with wrestling, they got no life outside of it. They got to just be on Twitter 24/7. Those are the fans he's talking about in the interview yesterday with McAfee. Like they don't do anything else. All they just consume the wrestling and they respond to every little thing on Twitter. So dumb. Y'all need to freaking go play Call of Duty or watch a Netflix or we can go to I don't know, go to the movies, something, man. Got the Super Bowl on Sunday. You guys, there's other stuff to do besides just like, talking about and just being on social media and just talking about wrestling, man. Super Bowl's coming up. You got March Madness on the way, even though I'm not a big college sports guy. You got NHL playoffs and NBA playoffs in 2 months, so there's other stuff to watch, man, besides wrestling, guys. All right. Let me just find out where I was before I went off on that story. Okay, so yeah, so he says Cody crybabies, and then they started doing the what chants. Man, that was shocking. I don't know the last time I remember Rock getting what chants. And then they show the Bloodline family tree. I think oh, they don't have a picture of it. Okay. Yeah, but there was like a on that screen behind them where the Brahma Bull is. They show like the Bloodline family tree, and it was like the whole the Bloodline dynasty type of thing. Everybody's names and stuff, and on the top it was High Chief Peter Maivia, the Rock's grandfather, and Roman's grandfather. And he says that's the Bloodline family tree. When you look at this family tree, look at the top of the tree, the Rock's grandfather and Roman's grandfather. Or hold on, let me Google this. Gotta have a picture of it. Oh yeah, right here we go. Hopefully this works. It doesn't show all of it, but it shows most of it. Oh, you can't. Okay, you can see most of it right there. Oh, I can't get rid of this top bar. Okay, right there. Okay, so he says, where was I? Okay, so he says, look at the top of the tree. The Rock's grandfather and Roman's grandfather made a blood oath. Says there's only one dominant and powerful royal family in professional wrestling. So another shot at Cody Rhodes there. Says if you think that The Rock and Roman Reigns isn't the biggest main event in the history of WrestleMania, it doesn't matter what you think. So he went a little heel there on the crowd. Love that. That was hilarious. And he says we're bound by blood, and then him and Roman Reigns like held, they just gripped each other's hands, or like a it was like a Samoan handshake type of thing. So that was dope. And you had Kobe Rhodes come out. Where was it? Okay, right there. Okay, there's no full screen shot of it. Let's use that one. And Cody Rhodes, his music doesn't play. He just says, hold on, hold on. This is BS. Roman, you're out here calling the shots. It is not your right to determine the main event. It is mine. And he's all fired up when he says that. Says, I've made my decision at WrestleMania 40 in the main event. I choose you, Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns is all mad and stuff. And then Roman Reigns gets the mic. He says, you must be crazy. You must be stupid or something, huh? This is a done deal. You're old news. Go over there with the number twos. The loser bracket. Right there, the dummy in green. You're embarrassing yourself. Last year was your year, but that was your moment. You were only a chapter in my book. Nobody cares about your story. Nobody cares about you finishing your story. You're embarrassing your entire family now. You're irrelevant, just like your dad. Oh man, I can't believe he said that. It's because Dusty Rhodes is the one that trained him pretty much in NXT. Man. And then Cody Rhodes, he gets a mic. He starts talking on the mic. He says, here you are talking about family. Is that what the bloodline is? How's Jay? And the crowd started oohing and ahhing there. He said, it's not a family. You're a meal ticket, and they are your lackeys and yes men. Oh man, disrespect looked great in this whole press conference. Says this match is here is about who sits at the head of the table, but neither of you have been doing any of the cooking for 2 years. Man, Cody's fired up for this. And he says, "You invoked my father before, so now let me do the same. If your grandfather was here, if the High Chief Peter Maivia, the Rock's grandfather, was here, they'd be ashamed of you." That's when the crowd like, "Oh." And then the Rock says, "When you're talking about his family, you're talking about my family." And then he said, "You're talking about my blood, his blood, you're talking about my blood. You're talking about his ancestors, you're talking about my ancestors." And then they waited, and then he slaps Cody Rhodes. I think they got a picture of it. Oh yeah, right there. Look at that. Just like 2 years ago when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. And then everybody, Triple H had Nick Aldis there and a bunch of security, so they just separated everybody. They took Cody Rhodes to the back. Seth Rollins is like, "Oh, you can't do whatever you want, even though you're on the board or whatever. You're a member of the board." And The Rock's like, "Yeah, I can." And then that was pretty much it. So love the chaotic ending. And they bleeped out every time they would cuss, they would bleep it out. So I didn't know what they were saying. And then in the back, the Triple H was getting interviewed by one of the reporters, and then I don't know what The Rock said because they just bleeped it out. He just told him to fix it. That's the only could make out what he said. So yeah, I love this. Great set, great way to promote WrestleMania. It was basically to promote WrestleMania. I loved it. If they're gonna do these type of press conferences like before, they usually do press conferences after the pay-per-view, but if they're gonna start doing these press conferences before pay-per-view, I'm all for it. Especially it's got and the match has got to. It depends what the main event is for whatever pay-per-view they're doing for the press conference for. It's got to matter. So yeah, I thought that was fantastic. All right, now let's get to SmackDown. This is your Friday night SmackDown review for February 9th, 2024. You got Triple H come out there. Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce are already in the ring. Says tonight took a left turn. The road is on fire. Says it felt like confusion. Some people don't know their role. He'll insult at The Rock there. Pretty much know what he's talking about. The answers come from one place. You're looking at him. Roman will defend his title versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Some people back there, that decision won't be liked. It doesn't matter if you don't like that decision. He took another shot at The Rock using his catchphrase back in the day when they used to feud. So we got a lot of storyline there. And they're gonna show up next week, so it should be a good segment with Rock and Roman back. And we got Nick Aldis. He says the number one contender for Seth Rollins' title will be decided in Elimination Chamber, and they're basically doing elimination matches. And then Adam Pearce, he gets a mic, says 12 superstars will compete. And then on the Titantron, they showed all 12 superstars. I don't think they have a picture of it. No, I want to have a picture of the Titantron when they showed the people. So yeah, Adam Pearce says the 12 superstars that are competing in the qualifying matches: Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, Kevin Owens, Logan Paul, AJ Styles, The Miz, Ibar, Drew McIntyre, Dominic Mysterio, LA Knight, Bronson Reed, and Sami Zayn. And they're about to do the first match. Now comes Drew McIntyre. Says this shirt, it's a top seller. Classic shirt. It's got CM Punk. It's pretty much like a graveyard with CM Punk's name on the tombstone. It says 2024 WrestleMania RIP CM Punk's 2024 WrestleMania main event. That was hilarious. He says the shirt is a top seller. Punk won't get a dime. I'm gonna save the world title, win Elimination Chamber, and give you a champion that's best for business. He's bringing up that best for business stuff. They used to say that when they launched the WWE Network. Oh man. Yeah, so it's about to be Drew versus AJ Styles, first match, qualifying match, and out comes LA Knight. Yeah. Goes the commentary. Okay. And then yeah, so the match starts. Drew drops AJ with a chop. It was like a hard chop. Drew hit a suplex, then he hit a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for a 2 count. Drew tossed AJ over the barricade into the timekeeper's area. AJ hit a DDT. and he hit a power bomb for a near fall. Drew hit a future shock DDT. Uh, Drew goes for the Claymore. AJ he dodges the Claymore and gets out the way. Then he applied the calf crusher. McIntyre got to the ropes. Drew tossed AJ over the announce table where LA Knight was sitting. LA Knight dodged it, and then when AJ was on the ground, LA Knight like tilted his water bottle, and so it was spilling on AJ Styles. And then right here, Drew pushes AJ into LA Knight, and then AJ Styles he goes for the cover in the ring on Drew. LA Knight gets on the apron. AJ knocks LA Knight off the apron, and then Drew hits a Claymore for the win. So Drew McIntyre is the first guy to qualify for the Elimination Chamber match to determine the number one contender for Seth Rollins' title. Then we got a backstage segment with Sami Zayn. It says last year I was in the main event. Now I'm in a qualifying match with Randy Orton, one of the greats. He says it's not going to be an easy path for me. So he's like unsure. He's like pretty much saying he's not a lock to get a spot in WrestleMania on the WrestleMania card. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And we got a match. Bianca Belair. I fell asleep during this match. I thought most of SmackDown was boring. Bianca wins a match, I think with KOD, I'm assuming. That's her finishing move. So she qualifies for the Women's Chamber match. And then I woke up in the middle of this segment. Dakota Kai and Bailey. Dakota says she didn't know what was happening with damage control and stuff. And Bailey was like basically just calling her out on her nonsense and her BS. He's like, you knew. He's like, I didn't. And then damage control comes out there. Looks like they're about to attack Bailey. And then Dakota Kai, she just gets out the ring. She's got a chair or whatever. Yeah, so she gets in the ring with a chair. Looks like she's about to hit nail Bailey. But Bailey ducks out the way and she nails was Io Sky on the opposite side. And then she just attacks. She just runs off the rest of damage control, and that's pretty much it for that. And then you had this at the end, so who knows whose side she's on, I guess. And then we got a segment with Randy Orton in the back. Says earlier, Sammy said it's not a given he'll make WrestleMania. He says I was out 18 months. I must have patience. He says there's gonna be one constant in the Elimination Chamber. Three most destructive letters: RKO. And then we got an interesting segment with Triple H and Braun Breaker. Triple H says looking forward to seeing what you can do on the next level. And Braun Breaker says, should I pick Raw or SmackDown? So he's still unsure of which brand he should sign with. And then Paul Heyman pops up out of nowhere, says, you're a hell of a talent. And he says to Triple H, and then uh he tells Triple H, I'll be back with Roman Reigns and The Rock next week. So I already know that's gonna be the best segment next week, hands down. And we got a tag match. The winner faces Judgment Day for the tag titles at Elimination Chamber. I just didn't really care for this match either. That was a boring match. Just a bunch of spamming moves like it's WWE 2K. Tyler Bates and Pete Dunne win, so they're gonna face Damian Priest and Finn Balor for the tag titles. Just didn't really care for this match. Now we got a segment in the back, this time with Dominic Mysterio. He says he's gonna win Elimination Chamber. And then KO shows up, says you're facing me next week. And then R-Truth, this fool shows up. He says, he says to KO, Miz, you're supposed to be on Raw. Don't let Nick catch you. KO's like, Nick Mysterio? He said, no, man, Nick Aldis. This man's a fool, man. That was it for that. We got another segment in the back, this time with Logan Paul and Nick Aldis. Logan Paul is pretty much telling Nick Aldis, I want the Rock kind of treatment. I'm a big deal. I can do whatever I want, get away with it, and I'm gone. Dude, you're not the Rock, man. Shut up, Logan Paul. This, this fool. So yeah, he's facing the Miz next week in his qualifying match. All right, next up we got the last part of SmackDown main event. Another qualifying match for Elimination Chamber. Sami Zayn versus Randy Orton. Sami hit a moonsault off the barricade. He didn't get all of it. He kind of got like half of it on the outside. Sammy hit a back suplex on the announce table. Randy Orton hit a superplex. I didn't think that was a smart move since he had back surgery and he was out for a year and a half pretty much. So that was kind of stupid. And he was selling his back a lot after that move. Then Randy hit a clothesline. Then he hit the power slam. Then Randy hit this time he hit the back suplex on the announce table on the outside. And then Orton hit his middle rope DDT. Vintage Orton, as Michael Cole would say. And then Sammy hit the Blue Thunder Bomb. He got a 2 count. And then Randy Orton hit the RKO for the win. So he's the second guy to qualify for the men's Elimination Chamber #1 contenders match. And then at the end of the match, or after the match, hopefully they have it. Yeah, so Drew pops up in the ring and they have a stare down, pretty much. And they were just talking trash to each other after when they went off the air. Drew's pretty much just trying to just psych him out or just warn him that he's gonna win the match or whatever. So we already know two guys in the Elimination Chamber match. It's gonna be more qualifying matches next week. So we'll see who else qualifies. But yeah, for the most part I just thought it was a boring SmackDown. You got The Rock and Roman Reigns gonna be back next week. So yeah, hopefully it's gotta be next week's episode's gotta be way better than this week's. All right, so that's pretty much it for SmackDown. See ya.